Most people lie when they give you an objection. So I'm going to show you a technique you can use to actually get them to tell you the real reason they're not moving forward. So when a prospect gives you an objection, what do you do when you get the objection? You go into defense mode. Like you've heard this objection before, right? From other prospects. You already know what they're thinking, or so you think you do. So you start rattling off a rebuttal. How often does that actually work? Rebuttals are okay. I would actually rather find out what's behind the objection so I know how to help them overcome it rather than assuming I know. That's a danger in sales. So let me give you an example. Let's say your prospect says, I want to think it over, whatever the objection is, okay? And let's say that you've got to a point where you cannot overcome it. You've tried so many different things. What you want to do is shift your tone. I'm not kidding you. Shift your tone into more of a concerned tone. Now, why is it critical for you to master tonality when overcoming objections? Because imagine if the prospect feels like you're really concerned for the consequences of what happens if these problems don't get solved. Meaning, if they don't buy from you, how do they get their problem solved? They can't. They stay in the status quo, nothing ever changes, okay? So rather than getting defensive, like, well, what do you need to think about? Which just triggers them to even get more defensive, I might lean in. If you haven't able to overcome any of the objection, you can lean in and say something like this. Um, can I ask you something, John? Sure, yeah, go ahead. And this is between you and I, and it's it's off the record. I'm not going to go post it somewhere. Um, what's really holding you back from moving forward? Now, did you see the shift? Now, I'm showing you what I'm doing. I'm showing you a role play here. In a real life situation, the prospect doesn't see that. But did you even feel that on this video? Did you see how my tone just shifted into that concerned tone, a tone that shows empathy? Now, why is it critical for you to structure that question the right way? But also, why is it important for you to understand how you ask that question? Because what if I said it like this? Hey, let me ask you, John, off the record, like, what's really holding you back? You're not going to get the same effect. Because what did that sound like that way? It sounds like you're just trying to find out so you can overcome an objection. But watch how I do this, okay? Can I ask you something? Now, notice instead of me saying, let me ask you, and then I just bulldoze you with the question, which is kind of an aggressive form, I'm asking for permission. If I say, can I ask you something, John? No one is ever going to say, no, you cannot ask me because of my tone. My tone acts like I care about you. Now, when the prospect feels like I care about them genuinely, do you think that raises trust in me or lowers trust? Obviously, you know the answer. And then they're like, sure, go ahead. And this is, it's off the record. It's just between, you and I. Um, what's really holding you back? See that shift in the tone there? Did you see how I paced that out? Now write this down. That's called verbal pacing. Because what if I said it like this? Can I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. And it's off the record, between you and I. What's really holding you back? That'll work sometimes, but it's definitely not going to work most of the time. It's definitely not going to work on A-type personalities. How many A-types do you lose sales from? It's that concern tone, a tone that shows empathy. It's really hard for the prospect not to open up. Now, why is that? Because they feel like you're concerned for them not getting this thing solved. You're concerned for the consequences of what happens if they don't change. Now, if you want to master tonality, the art of tonality, because I hear some people online, they're like, oh, tonality doesn't matter, it doesn't even care. Obviously, they're amateurs as salespeople because every salesperson who has made millions of dollars a year as a salesperson working for companies, I'm not talking a business owner that has 200 salespeople, knows that tonality is extremely important. Have you ever read a book that says 93% of communication is your nonverbal? What does nonverbal mean? Your tonality in your body language. Only 7% is the words. Now, that study has since changed. It's about 30% is your actual words, but that leaves 70% of you connecting, making that sale is going to be based on not the questions you ask, not what you say, but how you say it, how you ask the questions, how is your tone, okay? It's a big deal, and I think you know it because I know you're committed to mastery. So text me with questions, 480-637-2944. And look, I know that you're not a dabbler. You don't want to dabble in sales where you're just another average salesperson like everybody else out there. And I definitely know that you're not a winger who just wings it all the time and hopes and prays it works out. They always get fired. And I definitely know that you're not a know-it-aller that thinks they know everything there is to know about selling because we all know where those people go. Their income gets capped. I believe you're committed to mastery. That's why you watch me. So click the subscribe button for more details on how you can commit to mastery so you can make more sales, help more people, and it forces your company to have to do what? Pay you more. Till the next one, see you soon.